Welcome back to the Taipei Bike Show. We have more top tech, as you can see. Now, I must say, I've never heard of a high bike before, but I stopped in my tracks when I walked past this, because that is a seriously cool looking bike. If bling is your thing, that's going to tick the boxes. It really annoys me that they've not put it on the big ring for the travelling triathlete, or for the discerning road rider. What are you going to put on your new folding bike? Oh yeah, SRAM Red E-Tab. That's what you're going to put on there. New for the show are Vittoria's carbon clincher wheels. Now, they had tubular wheels a couple of years ago, and then they've been developing carbon clinchers ever since. Uses the Speedlock bead system, so that means they're tubeless compatible, which is really cool. And they've got a full set, so they've got a 30mm deep wheel, they've got a 42mm deep wheel, and then they've got a 60mm deep wheel. Weights are really competitive, so the shallow wheel is 1400 grams, this medium one 1500 grams, then the deeper one is 1570. So like I say, all really competitive weights. It's quite an old school profile, so it's quite a narrow profile of rim. One of the key things that they've done is built-in graphene. So Vittoria claimed that that really improves the heat dissipation, and therefore that's really good for the longevity of your carbon clinchers, because the rim surface is going to last longer. Now, this is definitely one of the weirdest things I've seen. Not only is it a tiny little folding bike with, what, 8-inch wheels? It's also a tiny little folding bike with 8-inch wheels with a massive trailer on the back. As if tiny little wheels isn't penalising you enough, just tow a giant suitcase. And then when you're done, you fold your bike up, stick it in your suitcase, and away you go. Can't argue with the logic, I suppose. I know. This is the best one, yeah. Oh yeah, the hipster's choice. Now, I don't normally get grabbed by electric bikes, but this one has made me stop. Now, for a start, it looks flipping amazing. But then the more you look, the cooler it gets. So there's 500 watts comes out of the motor in there. Unfortunately, for a lot of countries, particularly in Europe, you're going to be limited to 25k an hour. So that's not great, but unlimited, this will take you up to 45k an hour. That 500 watts will last for an hour. So that's a range of between about 40k to 120k, they reckon, depending on how much power you're actually getting out of the bike or how much you're needing. There's also some really nice touches as well. So there's an 8-speed sequential gearbox in there. Obviously, there's no derailleurs. This is a completely different system. It is a normal chain in there as such, but it's a special design called a power chain. I actually can't see it. It's completely hidden. There's also a really neat little touch down here. You can see there's a lock, so you can actually completely immobilize the bike. You're still going to have to lock the frame up somewhere, otherwise someone could lift it up. Now, while we're talking about lifting, actually, it weighs about 23 kilos, so it's quite hefty, but then with 500 watts at your disposal, that's not that bad. Power to weight ratio is pretty good. Now, this is an intriguing looking beast, a unbranded, unmarked carbon frame. There's a lot of them here. But then when you have a look closely, what size wheels is that for? This is a new bike storage solution from Topeak, and I really like it. Okay, so it's called the turn-up bike holder, and it holds the bike by the front wheel or the back wheel, as you can see there. But the genius lies in the fact that it pivots. So if you live in a small apartment, so space is at a premium, the bike can then end up resting flat against the wall. But there's an added bonus for me. So if you've got multiple bikes and you're still limited for space, normally you can't rack them too close together because you can't get the bike in and out because the handlebars clash. But in this case, you can simply move one bike out of the way, rack another one up there, move it back. Genius. Topeak are also launching their Ninja series, which makes the most of unused areas of your bike for storage, like, for example, the inside of your handlebars. So in one side, we've got a chain tool, and in the other, got a 4mm Allen key, which is pretty cool. And further down, we've got a storage solution for underneath your bottle cage, which looks pretty neat, and then even a mini pump in your seat post. TRP are a long-established brake manufacturer, and they've just released some really great aftermarket options for a couple of specific purposes. So firstly, they've got this aerodynamic offering. It relies on Shimano's direct mount brakes, so that's where you've got 2 brake bosses that it screws onto. And then it is a center pull design, and inside there's a roller cam, and that is what activates the brake, which is pretty cool. because there's currently not really any aerodynamic offerings. You have to buy it integrated into a bike, like a Trek Madon, for example. And then, this will really interest one or two of you, I'm sure. So if you've got chainstay mounted brakes, you'll have noticed if you're using Shimano's caliper underneath that the clearance between the left-hand crank and, well, what is the cable is really, really tight, meaning that you can't run crank-mounted power meter like a Stages, for example. So what TRP have done is redesigned the entry point, meaning that you can now run a power meter on your crank, which is pretty cool. Some more epic tech from here at the Taipei Bike Show then. If you want to see part 1, then if you click just up there, then you'll get straight through to that video. Or for more tech videos on GCN, because we've got loads, you can click just down there. Finally, subscribe to the channel, just click about there. It's all right, just there.